On episode 119, my villainous cowboy named Steven Dreadful competes in his first ever world title match against the rebel Greg Williams in the main event, only to be defeated in 15 seconds, embarrassing himself and his team called KOTR, the Killers of the Revolution. Steven then goes on to get kicked really hard in the balls, almost having his sack torn into infertility. He would also go on to lose an official contest against an inanimate object of all things, and would actually go through a homosexual storyline. In the team of the Killers of the Revolution, Steven always played second fiddle to Gary Federline. He always found himself losing significantly way more than his tag team partner in comparison, all while Gary rose further up the card. Now, if you've seen me wrestle, you'll probably know where I'm going with this, but Steven Dreadful is essentially a recreation of the Sammy Falcon character, and the KOTR faction is my version of the team that I was a part of, the RB4K, the Rebels Before Kings. I literally played a character who did all the things that Steven has and will go through, as well as all the same emotions he eventually deals with. I've recently started to add fact to the fiction, as on episode 109, Gary Federline turned heel, turning on the top babyface known as Ricky Matthews by faking his own injury. Exactly how RB4K started. The fictional faction of KOTR have done and will go on to do multiple things that RB4K did, whether it be a planned storyline or, more so, the stories that I feel could have been enhanced and focused on a lot more. Now, the whole point in this, though, isn't to just simply copy and paste what happened in reality 2, 3, 4 years ago, but rather to tell my own story of what could have happened back in the day. RB4K eventually split, and in the lead up and aftermath of it, I feel as though it could have been delivered better, especially when it comes to the context of my character, Sammy Falcon. With Steven Dreadful dealing with everything that I went through and Sammy Falcon went through, I'm essentially going to be booking the end of KOTR the same way I personally would have liked to have seen the ending of RB4K. Now, I do want to mention here that I'm doing this purely for my own satisfaction and challenge, as opposed to this big FU to who I've worked with in the past. I understand that it may seem a little bit salty or spiteful, and to be honest, there is a little bit of grievance about what I personally and professionally went through, but that's what I think is going to make this a very interesting storyline on Impetus. Now, I've been fairly vocal about how I feel my career went in Australian wrestling, and I guess I'm using these Impetus episodes to turn my former and current negative frustrations into a positive creation. Since starting my writing journey, I've definitely come to the idea and the terms of subtext, and more so how it can be seen as a cowardly way of writing. Now, I'm willing to accept that as a possible criticism, but I'm also willing to just enjoy the process of writing what I feel like writing, for what I believe would have been a better way, at least for the Sammy Falcon character, to book the aftermath of RB4K. Now, I won't reveal too much as it'll give a lot of stuff away, but what I will say is this: if you've paid attention to any of my wrestling in the past, you'll know at least roughly what's in Steven Dreadful's future and KOTR's future. If not, and either way, just enjoy the ride and remember that Steven Dreadful is basically an Impetus version of Sammy Falcon.